Good morning YouTube and welcome to part 2 of the review of Flysky NV14. Okay, so let's continue. So here we've got a linear eye. It's you can hook it up to a string, a strap where you can hang it up from your neck so it won't fall in the field. Down here there's 2 screws. I already untied them. Oops. So this is the linear eye piece. It's quite heavy. It has this awesome color scheme. You can see this color scheme throughout different parts of the radio. The sticks, the switches, the knobs, even this ring here, and also the battery compartments and the power buttons. Now why did I remove that? It's because here, there is an SD card slot. It does comes with it in this slot from the factory. It does include let's just focus. $512 MB micro SD card. Here is where the firmware is stored. It might seem to be a bit small for a SD card, but I believe it's more than enough to store the firmware. In the screw holes in the top one, there is a button. It's called the flash button. We use it to flash a new firmware when we install a new firmware. And yeah, we just cover the entire hardware and the remote, except for 2 features that are not yet available because the firmware is still in beta. It's still not complete. These features are Bluetooth. You can actually connect this remote to Bluetooth. I'm not sure why exactly would you do that, but in the future we shall know why. And also there's a vibration motor, just like a video game controller. Speaking of video game controller, here's the PlayStation 4. You can see it's quite a big remote. Alright, now let's begin with the menu. Let's have a walkthrough in the menu of the OpenTX firmware. But before that, let me show you how we power up the remote. So here are 2 slots for an 18650 battery. Just get out of the way. Here's an 18650 battery. They are connected in parallel, meaning you can only power it with only one battery. So I'll lock that in place. I'll leave that one open. See, it's opened, nothing inside. It does have a speaker. It does have a speaker right here. Oops, my bad. So yeah, it does have a speaker. It does speak. When you turn it up, there's the throttle warning here. However, I'll not be powering it up using the battery, since it already killed one battery I have right here. So see, I have this other battery, another 18650, identical except in color, but I'll show you that it's dead. This remote is an 18650 killer. So here's the healthy battery. It has 14.2 volts. Now this one's dead. It's 0. See, it's dead. It shouldn't go beyond 3.2, but it killed it. So for the review today, I'll be powering it up using a micro USB cable supplied with the remote. Alright, just before we begin, let's just have a size comparison to a AA battery. See, it's quite big. And also let's measure the size of it. You see, these are called the 18650s because they measure in radius exactly 18 millimeters by 65 millimeters. Hence the name 18650s. Alright, let's now have a quick tour or a walkthrough in the menus.
Welcome to OpenTX. Throttle warning.
It gives us a throttle warning. The throttle must be at 0. Alright. Let me very quickly select a new model. Let's create a new model. Model 2. Alright. So this is the main menu of the remote. Down here you can see some sliders. These are not for the sticks, however they are for the trims.
Maximum trim reached. Trim center.
And when you center the trims, you will see 2 white lines. When you go a little beyond, it's just 1 line.
Minimum trim reached. Trim center.
And it does peak whenever you reach the limits or the center of the remote. And the bottom 2 sliders are for these knobs. Here you see the model name. The model is selected. And there are 4 different menus. And also this top bar. It has a date, some looks like telemetry, battery, but there is no battery, of course. It does indicate that it is charging, maybe because the USB is connected as shown here. This just seems like a volume level. And here is the first menu. It has explanation mark. Not sure if that's clear. There it is. Alright, in the first menu we have the model select, the menu that I just went through. We can create a new model and duplicate model, the current model. Let's select a model that is not selected right now. See the stick? It means that we are on model 2. But on model 1, because it's unselected, we get 2 extra choices. We can delete it or select it. But for now, we'll just keep it. We also get monitors. These monitors the output of the channels. Right now the switches and knobs are turned off. We'll have to turn them on later in the menus. And we got logical switches, but of course we haven't set any right now, so we'll have a look at them later when we set them up. Then we gotta reset some data. We got 3 timers and telemetry data. And when we reset them, when we reset the flight, we actually reset all of them. Or you can just reset each of them individually. But now we currently don't have any timers. Let's have a look at the statistics. So as you can see, we don't have any timers, so they'll all be at 0. We got the session, the time since we powered on the remote. We got the battery, I'm not sure what is Why is there one? Maybe the time remaining, I'm not really sure. But it's on USB, it cannot calculate it. We got throttle. So whenever the throttle is engaged, this timer will engage. And then we got throttle percent. It counts normally when the throttle is at full 100%, but let's suppose it's at 50%. It will just tick once every 2 seconds. That's cool. Right, we got another menu here. It's called debug. I have no idea what does all of that mean, but I'm quite sure it's not for an ordinary pilot. We also got the analogs. So we got different channels. For instance, channel 1, 2. No, wait, that's 2. It has here the percentage. 100, also from 100 to negative 100. So no, it's not a percentage. And also, this does seem to be a hexadecimal value. We got for all channels, even these knobs, which are channel 5 and 6. And also for switches, for instance, channel 7 and every other switch basically. We also got a 15th channel, but I tried to find it. I couldn't find any. I'm not sure which buttons exactly that trigger channel 15. Right, that's it for... Wait, I think I missed a menu. No, I didn't. Okay. So the second menu, about, but it does not work. About is not working whatsoever, maybe because the firmware is on beta, but I'm not sure. Right, let's go for the second menu. It has an aircraft icon. So here you can choose a model name. Let's change the name of a model. Let's call it, I don't know, test. Yeah, I know I spelled it wrong, but whatever. It does seem we can select an image, but maybe we currently don't have an image in the SD card. And also, maybe the firmware is incomplete. It doesn't have this feature. We can set up timers. Let's give it a name, whatever. Let's select it with switch A to the top. So whenever I engage this switch to the top, it will start. With the mode, let's just keep it simple. We got the throttle and throttle percent, but I'll keep it as simple. And let's make a start from 0. I don't know what's that for, so I'll just leave it. Alright, let's have a look. In the statistics menu, so this is timer 0. See, it's counting. I can pause it. Start at any time I want when I flick the switch. Handy. We can do for 3 timers, 2 and 3. We also got some options for the trims. I'm not sure what are they for. And here's a reset. We can reset all trims. Let's suppose. Let's just move all trims different positions. So we have all trims in different positions. Let's hit the reset button right here. Now all of them will be centered. Nice shortcut.